In this video, we're going to see how to visualize the metrics of running data service instances and the NE8's control plane itself. We'll use PostgreSQL as an example, but what you'll see applies as it is for any other data service, as we'll add more. So both the NE8's control plane itself and the data service instances that you provision through it export Prometheus metrics. So if you're already using Prometheus in your clusters, you can directly configure it to scrape the metrics that NE8 and its instances export. However, for exemplary purposes, we also provide YAML manifests to deploy in the cluster a Prometheus server and a Grafana dashboard. And the PostgreSQL server is already configured to scrape NE8 and its data service instances with things such as service discovery to dynamically start scraping new data service instances as they're added. So let's actually go ahead and try to deploy in our cluster Prometheus and Grafana. Normally you would do this as you install NE8, but for the purposes of this video, I'm gonna do it later, that is now, to better illustrate you. So here I have a local Kubernetes cluster, and it already has NE8 installed, and there's also already a running PostgreSQL instance, as you can see, kubectl get PG shorthand for PostgreSQL, and there's one instance called sample PG cluster. And if we look at the pod, we can also see that it has 3 replicas, kubectl get pod. Okay, so let's go ahead and deploy Prometheus and Grafana. Kubectl apply kubectl apply recursive file name metrics. And okay, the command went through. Let's actually visualize the pods where Prometheus and Grafana are running. Kubectl get pod namespace NE8 system selector metrics. And here we have 2 pods, one with Grafana and one with Prometheus. So now what will happen is that this Prometheus server will start scraping our PostgreSQL instance and the NE8's control plane, and Grafana can be configured to get the metrics from Prometheus and create dashboards to better visualize them. So let's actually do that. The first thing we want to do is access Grafana. So to that end, I'm going to create a port forward, kubectl port forward services Grafana, and this port forward will expose on localhost, that is on my machine, port 3000 of Grafana. And okay, the port forward went through. Now let's actually access Grafana. Open localhost 3000. Oops, I forgot HTTP. And there's a typo, sorry about that. And okay, so here's our Grafana dashboard. We need to authenticate, and since this is the first time I access this dashboard, it will ask me to change the password. This is only because it's the first time, like I said. And okay, we're logged into Grafana. Right now, there are no predefined dashboards to visualize any metrics, so we're going to go ahead and create one ourselves. So we go here on the plus symbol and we do create dashboard. Add new panel, and we configure the data source to be Prometheus, the Prometheus server that we have run. And now we have to decide on what we want to visualize. And for example, a common use case you might have is that you want to get a pulse for how many backups have been taken for your running instances, how many are successful, how many are not, because it's always good practice to have a certain number of healthy backups in your cluster. So let's actually do that. We go here in the metrics browser and we say that we want to see the metrics, NE8's backup manager, total, succeeded backups. And here we have it, and it tells us that there's one succeeded backup. We also want to see, for example, the failed backups to make sure the number is not too big. NE8's backup manager, total failed backups. And we also added this metrics, and here it tells us that there are 0 failed backups, which is good, of course. And now let's go back to our cluster to verify that indeed there's just one backup and that it has succeeded. So we can do kubectl get bkp, and indeed there's just one backup called backup sample. And if we look at its YAML, bkp backup sample output YAML, oops, sorry, we should see that if we go to the status, it says that the condition of type complete is true, which essentially means that the backup successfully completed. So the metrics we're seeing are correct. If you don't remember how to take a backup, check out the 6th video of our series. And another thing I want to point out is that in this video, there were no predefined dashboards and we had to create our own anew. And that's something we encourage you to do if you use our Prometheus and Grafana solution, because you know best what metrics are relevant to you. That being said, if we were to get consistent feedback from customers or interested people to always see certain metrics, we could start shipping Grafana always with a set of predefined dashboards. If you want to try our Prometheus and Grafana deployment, make sure to check out our website to learn how you can get them.